Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's doing well on this wonderful, hot, sweaty Tuesday. And hope you're somewhere where you have air conditioning. We got some stuff to cover today. Um, we got some feedback here. I don't know if hopefully it's not coming through. But we got we got a lot of things to deal with, some talk about, and the housing market's starting to crack. There's a lot of reports that are coming in that prices are starting to slip. Inventory is slowly starting to climb, and yeah. We're going to kind of dive into that, and we're going to dissect that. Before I get started, I hope my audio is okay on this getting started here. And my guest will confirm as soon as she jumps on. But I just wanted to reach out to those folks down in Texas with the hurricane. And apparently there's about 2 million people that are out power. There's been several that are confirmed dead, and I just wanted to reach out and hope that all those are those that are being affected by this hurricane are staying safe. That relief comes soon, especially during these horrific heat waves and temperature fluctuations that we've been having. So I just wanted to say that just as an awareness for all of our folks down in the Texas area, in the middle states, that I'm thinking about you. So. That being said, prepare now. The housing bubble is starting to crack, and we're going to find out why. But you know who cracks me up? My guests. My guest cracks me up. She's always fun to have on, and I'm just going to bring her on because this is just we need to get her on now. Let's go. You know her. We love her. Jackie Baker.
Hello.
How's it going, Jackie?
Good. How are you?
You can hear me okay, right?
Absolutely.
I was getting some wicked feedback.
Oh.
Some wicked, terrible feedback from my
Boston. Have that wicked feedback.
Wicked feedback from in my AirPods. So everything's gone just haywire. It's just okay. The way it is.
It's okay. We're here. It's all good.
And you know what? If I have no audio and I'm talking to myself for however long I talk to myself, then at least you and I will have a good conversation. So there we go.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
So there's some cracks in the fortress that is the housing market situation going on, right? In this country, and I'm going to dive right in because we got a lot to cover. We got a lot of stuff. What we're going to do is I've got a couple articles we're going to talk about, dissect, discuss, and all the things. And then I've got some questions, some comments that came in on my channel this week that I want to pop up that we're going to have some discussions on and talk about it and tell you how it is.
All right, let's do this.
That's how I roll. That's how we roll.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to get into this and get right to it. Housing market crash. Expert says market ready to pop. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait, hold on. I got the thing. There we go.
This is so deserving of that sound effect.
100%. Yeah. So we've got imminent housing bubble. Oh, I get so much. I've been actually chomping at the bit to dig into this article with you, Jackie,
I know you
because
have.
There's some things, but imminent housing bubble bursts in southern U.S. expert warns. They should put quotations around expert. Anywho. Increased construction. So this article kind of, chunks it down. The first area, increased construction amid pandemic demand. Home builders in the southern states, and a lot of this we already know, but home builders in the southern states ramped up construction in response to the heightened demand for homes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many Americans relocated to the South, seeking more affordable housing after remote work became widely feasible during the stay-at-home orders aimed at slowing the virus's spread. However, this trend is now slowing, resulting in decreased demand for homes. I don't, right off the bat, I don't agree with that. The trend is slowing, so a decreased demand for homes. I get issue with that. I don't think that's happening at all.
No, I don't agree with that either.
First red flag. Where's my big red marker like a teacher does, right?
Yep.
Anyhow, During the pandemic, cities like Austin, Dallas, and Nashville saw an influx of new residents attracted by relatively low housing costs and the appeal of larger living spaces. This demand surge prompted builders to rapidly increase the construction of new homes to meet the growing need. That is accurate. According to housing market reports, this period saw record numbers of building permits issued and homes being completed at unprecedented rates. Yes, that did happen.
Yep.
Here's where we get into the meat of the matter. Despite the initial surge, the market dynamics are shifting. One analyst suggests that the drop in demand has left many homes on the market, creating a potential bubble. Quote, a massive housing bubble has developed, and it is about to pop in the South. This almost sounds like a dramatic entry to a movie, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
A massive housing bubble has developed and is about to pop in the South. The number of new homes for sale in the southern regions, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, etc., has spiked up to nearly 300,000, says Nick. How do you say his last name? Gurley?
I think it was Gurley. It's Gurley. Yeah.
CEO of Reventure Consulting, Reventure Consulting, it's a YouTube channel. And that's right. He does, he is not he's not a professional economist. No. He doesn't work for any large institution, trade organization, so on and so forth. Correct?
Correct. He's a YouTuber. He's a guy. He just spews out all this stupid data where he gets.
Which we're going to get to.
On me.
Hey, nothing like dropping a truth bomb right out of the gate there, Jackie.
Sorry. You know how I am. I'll tell you.
This is why I do a spicy live stream. This is the highest level of all time, even higher than the previous bubble peak in August 2006. Before the massive crash. The data from Gurley's analysis shows that this inventory buildup is not just a temporary fluctuation, but a significant indicator of market imbalance. The southern housing market's rapid expansion is now revealing vulnerabilities that could lead to sharp corrections if not addressed. Okay, here it comes. Gurley further suggested that the COVID-19 inspired demand led to high prices, which are now declining as demand for home decreases. I'm going to stop right there. Mm-hmm. Jackie.
Yep.
You're very knowledgeable in the area of market information.
Yep.
You do a lot of, like I do, stay on top of the news, stay on top of the data.
Mm-hmm.
The data. Not just news articles. We read the news articles, but you and I both get into actual data to back up, to know whether this stuff is legit.
Yes.
Okay. In your opinion, is demand decreasing? Buyer demand?
No, it's not. But I mean, for right now, this time of year, it's slowed a little bit, but the demand is still out there. I mean, this is a typical summer market for us right now, right?
Every July.
Down, but it's not like buyers have just, get dropped off the face of the earth. And now that, prices are going to be, falling down now because the demand's not there. I mean, demand is still there.
No,
there's still some competition, not as much.
Correct. Right, correct. And high prices has not led to high prices alone has not led to decreased demand.
No.
He goes on to say that the rush to acquire property during the pandemic drove prices to record highs, making it increasingly difficult for local buyers to afford homes. I know this sounds very bearish, he says, on Southern real estate, but ultimately it's pretty simple. Home builders and investors rampantly speculating in this housing market over the last 3 or 4 years. That's true. Prices went up far above what locals can afford, creating a bubble. Now that bubble is slowly popping. Jackie, does a bubble slowly pop?
It pops. It doesn't slow.
It's either
it pops or it keeps growing.
Or just how about there is no bubble? There's adjustments. There's softening.
But
there's no bubble.
No, there's definite softening going on for sure, but not I mean, I just talked about this last night in my live stream, and there was another analyst out there predicting a very sharp correction. I like the term correction better, but sharp correction, like this analyst that I was talking about last night, he's saying there's going to be correction of 30%. That's 30%. A crash. That's a crash. Like that's
that is a crash.
No, it's. I don't think we're going to see 30%.
No,
but
I've got some data on that too.
What's that?
I said I've got some data on that as well.
Bring it on.
Yeah, 100%, because it's such an easy word to throw around. Yeah. David says maybe the author of this article lives on Fantasy Island with Mr. York. Entirely. What else does he say?
I think so, David.
He might be a professional grifter. David's got jokes. He's got jokes tonight.
I love when David comes on. I love that.
Yep, makes it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You think I'm bad at my commentary? We got David here to chime in as well. I love it.
The article goes on. It says the potential recession. He goes on to say, and it could start to pop pretty fast if a recession is thrown into the mix. Now, he's not 100%, incorrect on that. If a recession were to start rearing its ugly head, things will go south pretty fast, pretty rapidly, right?
For sure.
But there's been talk about that there's been no evidence, right, at this point.
No.
To that there's something that's imminent, widespread. Like I did a video, you and I both did a video about pockets. And there's always local pockets. Texas and Florida are getting the heat of that impact, but they had extenuating circumstances, right?
Exactly.
Hurricane Ian, and then we had the immigration, what do you call it? The immigration, the movement of people leaving California, people going into Texas, all the building and whatnot. Not a widespread across the country situation. Right. Anyways. The potential recession Gurley mentions could exacerbate. Yes.
Moving
on. The market correction. He's got me so worked up. If economic conditions worsen, potential home buyers may delay purchases, further reducing demand and putting additional downward pressure on prices. This could lead to a more accelerated and pronounced market adjustment. I mean, he's not entirely wrong there, if economic conditions do worsen. But I mean, I think there's just so much. There's so many facets to why buyers are not buying right now.
Right.
And it's not isolated to prices. It's not just prices.
Well, it's prices. It's interest rates. The rates I think that's the killer. That's why I think people are holding back. So I think it's interest rates is the number one reason why.
And you know what? And I'm going to tell you why I agree with you 100%. Because, and I was just reading an article about this yesterday, and just enforcing the fact that buyers typically, unless you're a full cash buyer, right? Then the interest rate situation is non-existent.
Right.
But if you're financing, you never buy a house for the price. You don't go to a house and say, I'm not going to buy that house because it's $800,000 or $600,000. No, you buy for the payment. Can you afford the payment? So you bought that house when it was $600,000 when the interest rate was at 3% because the payment was lower.
Right.
But now the payment is higher because the interest rate is higher. That house could still be $600,000. And you're like, I can't afford that house. It's too much money.
Right.
Not because of the price, but because of the
interest.
Payment.
Exactly.
Real estate is purchased on payment, period. If you're financing, right?
True.
So thank you. Maxine says, my husband and I have listed our older farm home. We're pretty rural. A very scary guy wanted to see our home and we respectfully refused. Good idea. Our agent fired us. Is this fair for an agent to do? Well, so first off,
no.
Well, technically, I mean, can an agent back out of a contractual agreement? I mean, what's
They
the
can, but they were, first of all, if a buyer comes to your door with unrepresented, what you're supposed to do is say, contact my agent. Okay. Like, we're not
Yep,
supposed, you're right. The sellers aren't supposed to be really conversing with the buyers.
right.
So if they turned this guy away just because they felt uncomfortable, I don't think that's reason for the agent to fire them. That I
No, I
wouldn't
mean,
have done that.
and
I
and and honestly, Maxine, you probably the agent just did you a favor because if the agent isn't respecting you as a homeowner,
Absolutely.
you don't want to work with that agent.
Exactly.
They
I
just
would
let you out
never
of the contract. That's a blessing.
I would be
That
like, I'd be like, "Do you have security cameras? Like, let's get security cameras." Like, I'd be,
I
I'd
mean,
be
if
really
there's
worried for them.
yeah, 100%.
I
Yeah, no,
wouldn't turn around and
100%.
fire
And it's
them.
like,
That
we don't know. Um, yeah, it just it sounds sketchy at best. It sounds like maybe this agent wanted to get the deal, and this guy maybe could have been a viable buyer.
but
Whatever, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I just, yeah,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. That's not right.
It's
That's not
the
right.
agent is there to lawfully. This is the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics.
Uh-huh.
Which, by the way, I'm dropping a video on Thursday to talk about that. Shameless plug. But the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics is one of the things that we abide by being a realtor
Mhm.
is to respect the seller, the buyer and seller's lawful instruction.
Right.
Law, as long as they're what they're doing is not breaking the law, we are bound to do what they ask us to do. And if they say, I don't want to show people this house to people with purple hair or whatever, or people that drive Mercedes or whatever, like, I don't know. Is that lawful? Well,
Yeah.
maybe,
I mean, look,
you know,
it's the seller's right. It's the seller's right to, who they want to,
it's their house.
exactly, who they want to show the house to. I mean, that's outrageous that they fired him. So what else did she say?
She said, we can't sell our home unless we show it. I get that, but I wish she could have seen him. My gut was alert. I'm seeing this firing as a blessing as well. Thank you both. 100%,
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
absolutely. Yeah. No, you need to listen. We're supposed to be advocates for our clients, right? To
Yeah.
me, what that person did, that agent did, again, they're all, like you said, it's all about their sale for them.
Yep.
So they turned a
Yep.
buyer away. Ooh, they weren't comfortable. Like, okay, fine. So move on.
So here's the flip side to this, right? The flip side to this is that, you know, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
No.
You'll find it.
But
You'll find it.
it's, I found it. Sorry. It's tough once you get to be 50. It's like, what the
Oh,
heck's on my
stop.
brain? Swiss cheese sometimes. Anywho,
Stop.
focus back in. So, the thing is that the way I think a professional the way I look at it is if I have a client, this buyer seller, who there's friction, there's a miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want the person. I don't understand why they don't want the showing. I try to tell them, they're like, yeah, but there's a miscommunication. It is my job to help them understand.
Yes.
It is not my job to strong arm them into my way of thinking.
Right. Yep.
It is my job to say, okay, let's take a step back. Why are you concerned? Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And if you dig deep, you'll find out what the reason is, and then you can counsel the client, you can counsel the home seller and say, okay, yeah, but I understand your concern, but here are the safeguards. You're feeling nervous. Here are the safeguards that will help you not feel. You should never feel nervous or scared or all. I mean, you're going to be stressed. Putting a house on the market, having strangers come in your house, like it's unnerving.
It is
It's
scary.
unnerving. There's no if or ands or it is. Doesn't matter. What the situation is. It's out of the ordinary. So there's going to be a certain amount of stress, but you should never be nervous and scared. Like that's not acceptable.
Yep.
So it is a blessing. And thank you for sharing that with us,
Yes,
Maxine,
thank you,
because
Maxine.
sayonara, hasta la vista. And if you don't have a good agent, you click the link down below. I'll get you in touch with somebody that won't treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Teresa, welcome. Haja, do you have a projection on the timeline when prices are gonna come down on homes? I wish I did. Oh, Jackie, I wish I had a crystal ball.
I know.
I wish I had a crystal
we
ball.
wouldn't be in real estate if we could predict that stuff.
You know
right?
what? If you can stay tuned here for a bit on, hanging in there on the live stream here, I've got some content that we're going to get into that little bit in a bit, some predictions that I pulled up. So there's a lot of things that have to happen for those prices to come down. But again, it's not the price, it's the payment. Unless you're paying full cash, right? So I think that's the thing that we were like, how can we get that payment more affordable? And I mean, yes, they are directly related, to a certain degree, but it's a great question. And I wish I had the answer for that.
Nobody does.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
David.
Oh, David.
Thank you. I still don't have my you know what? I can do this. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you.
What does he say? Nick Gurley is a real estate expert about as much as I'm a fitness model. Oh my God, David. Oh my God.
Joseph, welcome. Buy new construction, 4.99 rates and 30,000 concessions.
Where?
That must be down in where are you at, Joseph? That must be down the southern states.
It has to be in the southern states.
It's got to be not up in the northeast, but it's got to be down the southern states for sure. And he says plus a warranty, for sure.
Yep.
Maxine says, how do assumable mortgages work? Are they worth it? Oh, that's a great question. Jackie and I actually did a live stream about that.
Yes,
a couple of months ago, a month and a half ago.
It was like a month ago. Wasn't that long ago? We did.
Yeah. I mean, in a quick, short, down and dirty answer, assumable mortgages basically means that you assume the seller's mortgage. And the mortgage has to be either an FHA, USDA, or a VA mortgage. They do not have assumable conventional mortgages. So essentially what you need to do is you have to be able to qualify for a USDA, VA, or FHA. And that mortgage has to be deemed assumable. And so there are assumable mortgages all over the country. I actually have a link, and I'm going to write myself a note because it's been on my to-do list. I have a link to a company called Assume List that you can check, and it actually gives you a list of all the properties with assumable mortgages. But basically, if you have a $200,000 purchase, back in the day, you could buy a house for $200,000. Just keep it easy. Say the house costs, the price is $200,000. Seller has a $100,000 mortgage at 3%, and you qualify for that mortgage. But you only have maybe $40,000 to put down, or $20,000 or $30,000 to put down. You have to be able to cover that gap. And there are companies out there that will do it. You can talk to your lender. There are a lot of lenders that will give you basically have to get a second mortgage to cover that, for that gap coverage, for that gap mortgage. So that gap mortgage will be at whatever the going rate will be, but you're going to save a ton of money depending on the size of the seller's mortgage. You'll be able to at least save money on that mortgage. So,
it's not a bad deal. If you can,
it really isn't. They are a ton of work.
The problem is it does take, well, not a problem, but you have to be patient with getting it because it does take a long time to get it.
There's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of hurdles.
Yes.
And it is a lot of work, and you need to make sure you work with an agent and a lender that's familiar with the process and can walk you through the process. And if you have an agent that says, "Oh, it's easy, it's no big deal," get another agent, because they're minimizing the situation.
Exactly.
Colorado. Oh, he's in Colorado.
Wow.
Is there a lot of construction in Colorado?
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
All right. David says, could it be Dr. Horton, some of the volume builders Oh, D.R. Horton, Dr.
D.R.
Boom.
Horton.
D.R. Horton, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, look at this,
probably.
Jackie. Patty Daly is that lady from the state of New Jersey? Jersey.
Yes, it
Jersey
is.
from Jackie's. Yep.
From
this
the
is
Dirty
Jackie.
Jers. Yes.
Let's go.
That's me. Let's go.
You're very welcome, Maxine. You're very welcome.
Oh,
We're,
you're so
we're super
welcome.
glad you're here.
Yes.
Joseph says they are building a ton of new houses in Colorado on the outskirts of town. I'd be interested to see what the prices are down there.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
They were booming for a while too, and I think those prices, that market's starting to soften too. They boomed in the pandemic. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So where were we?
Where were we?
Yeah, we're going. He goes on to like talk about the market normalizing.
Yeah, we're back to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. And this is just so much fun, honestly. I just get giggly when I just like it's just silliness, some of this stuff. I mean, it's not all bad, but some housing economists propose that the market may be normalizing after the volatility experienced during COVID-19, when cheap mortgage rates, lower prices in the South attracted buyers. The Southern housing market, once characterized by rapid growth and high demand, is beginning to stabilize as market forces rebalance. And our data is clear that the Southern markets are the most normalized. That's not untrue. Austin and San Antonio, for example, there are more homes now for sale than there were before the pandemic. That's not entirely true. They actually have just reached that 2019 levels.
Yeah.
They're just like, they make it sound like it's excessively more. It's right at the 2019 levels.
There's no way.
So there is a greater availability in the South, and we are seeing that affect pricing. Well, more availability always affects pricing. The median list price in Austin, for instance, went down 3% compared to a year ago. This decline in price indicates that the market is adjusting to reduced demand, aligning home prices more closely with what buyers are willing and able to pay. It goes on to say the U.S. still needs to build enough homes. Well, yes, we've been banging that drum for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The South has done a better job than other parts of the country in supplying new homes to the market. See, this is the thing. And I wanted to talk about this just briefly because of the fact that it's very simplistic in the sense that the fact that the South is building more homes sounds like it's a horrendous thing, that it's just like they're getting into trouble, right? Red flag, red flag. They're over. No, if anything, they're just taking care of business. They're doing exactly what the rest of the country needs to do.
Exactly. Like you're saying, we've been beating this drum for how long now? There are not enough homes. So good on them that they're doing it. And
it's important to know some truth bombs here. 2019, the market was not balanced in 2019.
No, it wasn't.
It was still a seller's market in 2019.
It was a seller's market in 2018 too. It was here in Jersey. It was here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yes, it was absolutely bonkers when you headed into the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now it's not bonkers, but it is not a balanced market. No. It is not a balanced market. So things are slowing. Yes, prices are shifting, but guess what? Is that just the market kind of settling down? Yes, I don't think it's a bubble. I don't think it's a crash. Again, I think it's just kind of like, it's coming off the sugar high.
Right. But they said the prices in Austin were down 3%. 3%.
Jackie, let me ask you a question. You go on vacation.
Yeah.
And you eat.
Yeah.
And you just enjoy the food. And you just like, there's no diet. There's no paying attention. No. You just eat. Exactly. And you take it in because it's available. And maybe you put on a few pounds. Probably not you, but me. Definitely.
No, I do all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's hard not to when you're especially on a cruise or something like that. You're gonna put on weight. Okay. So say you put on 5 pounds, 10 pounds, not 10 pounds, say 5 pounds. Then you come home and a couple weeks goes by and you get back in your routines and you lose 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you walk around going, oh my God, I lost all this weight? No. You just lost the weight that you gained when you were away.
Exactly.
That's what I think's happening. But
that's a great analogy. That is such a great analogy for that because it's so true.
See,
They're coming
my
back
sister's
down.
brain is good sometimes.
It's your brain is great. You come up with these great ideas.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, you're welcome.
Let's build each other up. Nobody
Yeah,
else will. It's all
always. I know, right? Thank God
good.
we have each other.
Patty Daly is your fan, though. Gotta love that. That's
Oh,
awesome.
hi, Pat. Oh, yeah. See where she commented where she's
Yeah,
in
she's
Barnegat.
from. You guys are
Awesome.
Jersey together.
Love it.
Jersey pals.
Love it. She's down the shore. I love it.
Yep. So Hale goes on to say the southern states have been more proactive in addressing the housing shortage. Amen. It has also attracted a lot of households from other regions in the country because homes there remain affordable. My expectation that it will continue to draw in people, and it's relatively affordable. Affordability will continue to be an advantage. Hale added, "I don't think we're going to see a crash, but it is the case that inventory of homes for sale are less scarce in the South now that they have been over the past few years." Yes. It goes on to say, comparing the housing crash to 2008, it's different. It's the big difference. The equity difference now versus then is they didn't have any equity. Now we have all this equity, and the equity acts as a buffer against potential market downturns, reducing the risk of widespread foreclosures.
Right.
We're not going to see a ton of foreclosures. It does go on to say that, that this Gurley acknowledged the other regions of the U.S. are experiencing fewer challenges than the South. The Northeast and Midwest, for example, have not seen the same level of speculative building and price inflation, which, let me read that again. The Northeast and Midwest, for example, have not seen the same level of speculative building and price inflation.
Yes, we have.
So we haven't seen our prices.
Our prices are through the roof. In Jersey, prices went up, I think it's like 14% in May, year over year.
I was looking at a 5-year comparison, right?
Yeah.
Analysis, market data for my Plymouth County, all the areas south of Boston. Okay. 380,000 was our median sale price.
Okay.
Before pandemic. 650,000 is where we're at today.
Oh my God.
No price inflation we won't see a housing crash in the Northeast or Midwest. I don't think, I agree with that. Home building there is at very low levels, is speculative inventory activity. Prices in these regions. Okay. This is why I was like, Jack, I can't wait to get on the live stream. You see this, what he says, prices in these regions are also less overvalued.
He's such a, sorry.
This is why if anybody walks away from this live stream, the thing you walk away with is don't believe everything you read.
Exactly.
Don't believe just what Jackie and I say. Fact check. Fact check.
Exactly. And other creators on YouTube, hello, Nick Gurley, you gotta go back and check, do your own research, because what he's saying right there, less overvalued. What the heck? What are you talking about, dude?
It is so overvalued. It's ridiculous.
Overvalued.
What did I just say?
Oh my gosh. But I can't, Jen. I can't.
No, you know what? I can't on that one. That article. I'm done with that article.
Thank you. I was about to go all Jersey on him.
You're gonna go Jersey.
Jersey on him. No
Let's
way.
see here. Patty says,
yep.
I'm in. How do you say that?
Barnegat. She's down the shore. She's down.
She's from the shore.
Down the shore. Sold my house 4 years ago. Bought the house for cash. Good for you, Patty. I love it. Jersey Shore rocks. Good for you. Got a house.
There you go. I like that.
Love it.
All right.
Love it.
Great analogy. Hey, thanks, David. If we have a shortage of homes, how can any building be speculative? Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's like saying, don't get the ice cream ready. Let's wait till the kids come to the front door to ask for ice cream.
Yeah.
They're asking for ice cream.
I know.
They're going to be begging for it.
Exactly.
Get it ready, dude. Just get it ready. You have a bunch of mad kids. My house in West Caldwell listed for $250,000, more than I sold it for 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome. That, you
Yep.
know what? This is
That's
the silver
Jersey.
lining. There's so much negativity. There's so much like, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Affordability and all the things. It's hard. But
It's
the
super
silver
hard.
lining, and honestly, you know what? I think that, and I actually read this. I agree. Actually, saw this in print the other day. I wish I had read the. I wish I kept the article, and it actually said that those that are thinking about buying now, those that are ready to buy, forget the market. Your finances are in order. You have your down payment. You're financially stable. Your job situation is good. Everything checks the boxes. You're ready to buy, but you don't because you're nervous about the market, the interest rates. Those people, if they don't buy this year, are going to be kicking themselves next
Yep.
year.
No, they will. They will for sure.
Because the unfortunately, these prices are not, they're going to soften slightly,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm actually, the next article I have gives some data about that. Data, not
Bring it, Jen.
speculation.
Bring it.
Oh, wait a minute. We get Antares. Am I saying that? I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Antares? That Nick is the biggest crash.
Clown.
Amen.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh,
Oh, you know, it's
I
just the
just don't have
drama.
patience for
Maybe
that
he
man.
just didn't get enough attention as a kid. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
That could be
I don't
it.
know, but he's like, he's got this huge channel and spewing all this crap.
It's just you have to double fact check, and I think it's hard to look away from a car crash.
Yep.
You want to like be like, oh, what's that? What's that? That's exciting, and like, oh, prices are going to go up 1%. That's not super exciting.
No.
What's way more exciting to be like, there's a crash coming.
Yep.
But in any event, we are addressing this, and the reason for my thumbnail and the title is so that I can address that and
Yeah.
get some data, some actual proof data. So, all right.
Yep.
In the spirit of that, data. We like some data. Typical home
Yes.
is selling for less than list price. The first time that has happened in late spring since the start of the pandemic. This was published in late June 27th, but updated last week. So numbers are current by Redfin. Redfin has some really good. I'm not going to read this whole entire thing, but their data is good, Jackie. I think.
Yes. Oh, I go by them all the time. I was.
Yeah, I think I think it's on point. This is the typical U.S. home sold during, and this is important because it kind of like compare during the hottest time of the year, which is May. That's when the most number of homes are sold is in May.
You're right.
The typical U.S. home that sold during the 4 weeks ending June 23rd sold for 0.3% less than its asking price. That is unheard of, Jackie. That's during the hottest time of the year in a low inventory market. It shouldn't be selling below asking, but it is, which tells you that prices are starting to soften.
It's starting to soften. Exactly.
This marks the first time the typical home has sold under list price this time of year since the onset of the pandemic in 2020, when the housing market nearly ground to a halt. The typical home sold for exactly its list price 1 year ago and roughly 2% above its list price 2 years ago. Additionally, just 1/3, 32.3% of U.S. homes sold over asking during that period. That's the lowest share of any late springtime since 2020, when the housing market had nearly ground to a halt. Nearly 7% of home sellers dropped their asking price on average. And I think when I see home sellers dropping the asking price, okay, Jackie, when you have a drop in ask, you have to ask yourself, number one, was the price overpriced to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, or is it a reflection of the market? A lot of people assume it's a reflection of the market, when in actuality, if the price wasn't proper, if it wasn't properly priced either by good data from the agent, or the agent allowing the seller to make some not the best decisions and put it on the market to see what happens.
Right.
And then you end up having to lower the price, and now you have all these price reductions. So it can be, in the case of down in the southern states, right? It can be a situation where the values are starting to soften a little bit because of rise in demand. But up here, the price changes and the price adjustments that we're seeing up here, it's because they were, the homes were overpriced to begin with.
Right. Yep. I agree with that too. It just in my town. So I've been closely watching the market just in my town because I have somebody that wants to sell and I'm just keeping an eye on it. And homes that were like a $900 to $1 million range were flying off the market.
Absolutely.
They're pricing that, but now I'm looking at the prices. Like when I saw one go on the market, like I would not have priced it this high. Like even like I think people are still stuck on what homes are selling for 2 months ago, right?
Yep.
What they're closing for. And I understand we got to go by the comps, but you got to look at what's active on the market right now. And that's what I'm trying to explain to me and my clients. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, these homes sold, but they went under contract 2 months ago, 3 months ago, even some cases. So
Right.
much different market back then. And if you're basing your price on what happened 3 months ago, and you're going to price it now, you're absolutely right. That's why we're seeing the reductions because people are still trying to capitalize on that big win, and the higher price.
Yeah, and if they could be just, you're trying to feel out the market. They're trying to feel out the market because nobody wants to leave money on the table. But if you have a neighborhood and 3 or 4 homes in that neighborhood, right? And those 4 homes are all slightly overpriced because the market is shifting and it wasn't read correctly, and it's or because it's not a crash where it's super obvious that, oh my gosh, prices are changing. If it's just a small shift, you may not feel it right away. And it's like, oh, your neighbor's priced here, your other neighbor's here, the other guy down the street's priced here. Let's price it in line with our competition.
Exactly.
Well, guess what? The market shifts. Now you've got everybody shifting downward because the market shifted slightly, but now you've got like, oh gosh, prices are plummeting because everybody's doing price changes.
Yep.
No, maybe they were a little bit too aggressive.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And like you have said before, these real estate agents, not the bash agents, but and look, everyone's trying to get business right now, but they're taking listings at any price. They don't care.
Absolutely.
And
buying the listing is what we call it.
You want to list it at $2 million? And yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. And then they'll sit on the market for months on end. So
Joseph says, agreed. If rates come down, prices will explode. If rates don't come down, prices won't move much. I agree with you.
Absolutely. Yep.
I agree 110%. I think that, I think it didn't happen before because buyers were just pushing. They were just like, they were riding the wave. And as that rate went up, they were like, I don't know how much longer I can hold on. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. And then we got up to like the 6%, 6.5%, 7%. They're like, I gotta bail. I'm tapping out. I'm done. So now the wave's stalled. It's, there's that appreciation because there's nobody buying into it. The buyers are pulling back. It's like just kind of sitting there going, wait a minute. It's like the one kid in the party that nobody wants to hang out with.
Right.
They're like, where'd all my friends go? And they're like, yeah, yo. Sorry, we're not buying today because no money. No money.
Yes,
no money in the wallet. So I totally agree. The big question is going to be though is, when those rates? Oof, I don't know.
But, Jen, really quick, I was reading, I think it was on one of the articles. Did I share that last night in my stream? No, but I was in my research for my stream last night. A lot of people are still predicting the interest rates are going to remain in the high 6s to 7, like 6.8 to 7% through the rest of this year. So,
and you know what? In the 50, I hate to say it, the 50-year average is 7%. So, the average, is, over the course of you look at the way you average out historically, 7% is not that high. It feels enormous.
It feels
because of where we were.
Exactly.
But the reality of it is over time, wages will increase. And yes, it's going to take time, but over time, wages will increase. So if home prices on average if they appreciate on average 4 to 4.5%, that's the history, that's the historical average, right? 4 to 4.5% on a healthy market is what you typically will see home prices appreciate. And if rates are solid, if they just kind of just hovering along, maybe they drop a little bit, but they just kind of hover in that 6 to 7%.
Yep.
Over time, income, employment, wages, slowly cost of living increases.
Yep.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of waiting it out.
Right.
So, Addie says Jersey girl knows the food in North Jersey the best.
Yes.
Only drawback.
Back to being down the shore. Okay, darn right, Patty. You know it.
Oh, I can't wait to go down and visit you, Jackie.
I know. You got to come down and like check it out.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Don't
David.
Smash the like button.
Yes.
Thank you, Patty.
Oh, Patty.
I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Knowledgeable real estate agent is hard to find. I very much, you don't know how much I appreciate that. Joseph, 100%. Yeah. Historical 7% is a good rate. Yeah. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Rates aren't coming down much. Home prices will drop years to come. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's all about that getting over that bloat of the COVID bloat.
Yes. But, I think, Jen,
too much time on the cruise ship eating all the free desserts.
Yes.
Bloated the prices.
But I think, who knows? Now, I've been saying for years, in order for sellers to get off, to get off the fence, that rates had to be down like in the 5% range, which, talking this out, it's like, this may be the new norm. These rates, high 6 to 7%. This might be the new norm. And like this guy saying, the home prices they're going to have to drop. They're going to have to come back down. They will never be back to pre-pandemic levels. I will I will scream that until the cows come home. It will never go back to pre-pandemic.
And what's interesting is that, I think I had that actually in another article with, people actually, is it this article? I actually had some stats on the fact that the number of buyers, people are out. It was the number of buyers that actually had 3% mortgages. Like that volume is shrinking substantially. Because over time, somebody that needs to move is going to move.
Mm-hmm.
Has the market crashed? Has the market completely stopped, Jackie? No. Right. Has it slowed? Oh, yes. But it never stops moving. Right. It never stops moving. People will always continue. So slowly over time, those 3% mortgages are going to disappear. There always going to be some kick it. It's not going to disappear entirely, but the number of them. So which basically means that people will they come to terms. And then guess what? Eventually, the person that buys say from 2023 on, and then a year and a half, 2 years, they get relocated. They're not holding a 3% mortgage.
Right.
They're just going to sell and buy into another. That's not a factor anymore.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're in our mid 70s and education offers fair health. Thank you. I am so glad. Mission accomplished.
Awesome.
Appreciate that. So glad you're here. Leah, thanks for joining us. Agree entirely that if you're ready to buy a home, income, down payment, savings, etc., then now is the right time to buy for you. It is a long-term proposition. Amen.
Yep.
Amen. This is not an investment. This is a home. And I talk a lot about on my channel about updates and upgrades and ROI and the whole 9 yards. And I think it's important to know that to make good educated decisions. But I also want to make sure that I also give that message that at the end of the day, if it's something that you love, as long as you know going into it, it's a matter of being educated on the decision. But once you're educated, the decision is your decision. If you want to do the thing that is not going to give you 100% ROI or maybe zero, but it makes you happy, it's your own, and it doesn't, and financially you can afford it,
Yes.
then do it. If
Yep.
it brings you joy and it doesn't put you into financial hardship, then
Absolutely.
do it. 100%. Joshua, thank you for joining. I'll move to another state and rent versus overpay for a home. And you know what? That is totally your prerogative, man.
Yep.
100%. And that's, you know what? And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are doing that. And depending on where you are, my brother and his family moved down to Austin area. And they sold their place up here. They moved down there and just made the decision to rent because they weren't sure exactly where they're going to land. And you know what? That might be the best decision he ever made, because the longer he waits, his price is down there anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. So he'll be in a really good position.
And you know what? You say like Colorado's doing a lot of building. Maybe we're going to start seeing that in other parts of the country.
Yep.
You know,
this is true.
I was in San Diego. I talked to somebody from San Diego today, actually. San Diego is very hot today. I heard it was like almost 100. It was like very, very hot.
Yes.
I remember back in the 80s, interest rates were around 12%. Yeah. And people still moved.
Yep.
People still moved. No one is moving right now because they want to. Only transactions are people that have to move.
Yep.
Yeah, yes and no. I think that there's still here's why I'm going to disagree with you, Joseph, is because have to move is a gray area. Having to move because of job transfer, yes. Having to move because of divorce, yes. Death, someone dies in the family, you have to, maybe you can't afford the house or whatever. But I mean, I've had clients that are like, I'm just unhappy and I can afford to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And yes, it doesn't have to check. And trust me, I did the whole Dave Ramsey thing. I know about snowballing and all the things, taught my kids how to save money. I get it. Right. But it's not always about checking the financial box to be like this financially, like house prices are up, whatever. Again, if the finances are in line, maybe somebody's worked a long time, their whole life, they've built up the equity, and maybe they can just weather the storm, and it would bring them an immense amount of joy to just do the thing. I've had a lot of clients that have approached me from other states that are just like, I'm unhappy where I'm at. I want to move.
Yep.
They don't have to, but they want to. So I think that there's a pocket of
they're out there. No, they're definitely out there.
Patty says, your home is a 30-year flip. I was going to say, we're having such a great conversation here. I don't want this to be like a 3-hour tour here. 3-hour live stream. 3-hour tour. I had some questions here that I wanted to get into from, if I can bring those on. So there's a couple of questions that came in off of, I'm glad you're on the live stream today, Jackie, because I love talk. I love it. I love getting your feedback on stuff. So a couple great comments, and there's a lot of comments, but every now and then there'll be a comment that pops up that I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about this a little bit more. So user V17015UP2B, whoever you are. The video was never say this to an agent when you're selling your home. The comment was, should the agent visit the property ahead of scheduling the presentation meeting, or will they base the sale price only on comparables? So I wanted to bring this up because this is a highly subjective, highly personal way of doing a presentation, market value presentation. And some agents you call them, talk to them, make an appointment. They will do a one-stop shop. They will research your property ahead of time. They will grab comparables and what they think your home compares to. And they will bring those to the house with them, do the tour, walk through, make a few notes, and then they're going to sit down and they're going to give you an estimated value off the cuff based on the 30-minute walk around in your house, and how that compares to the comparable properties. And no two homes are alike, even a new construction, personalizing and all the things. They're going to give you a price right then and there. I think it's unprofessional. And I think that I would question the value of an agent that does that. The only exception would be is it's an apartment building, condos, they're all identical. There's the neighbor sold on either side, or you have plenty of identical units, identical square footage, everything is identical, and there's not going to be a lot of variation. That would be the only exception, right? The flip side, which is the way I do it, which is it's a 2-visit process. Client calls, make an appointment, schedule the appointment, go out, spend an hour collecting data. That's all I'm doing. And I tell people up front, I'm not going to talk price this visit because I haven't done my homework. Mm-hmm. It's not fair to you. How can I give you a recommendation if I haven't done my research? Go around, collect everything I can from that homeowner, as much information. Then we schedule a follow-up. Usually 3-4 days later, I go back. It gives me enough time to do my homework. Now I can sit with the comparables and attach some value to those differences and really put together, an explanation behind my number. Right. So, mm-hmm. I mean, Jackie, I'm curious to hear what you do, because I have always thought that I don't know how someone could not do that and come up with a number out of thin air and really have, and be able to explain to the client why that number is that number,
So I have to tell you though, it depends. For me, it depends. So if it's like my actual town or the next town over, like super local market, mm-hmm. I do the unprofessional. I will research the comps and I go over there because I know the market. I know where the streets, I know what's sold. In that case, I know what I'm walking in there with valid information, valid data, because I know what I know it's because I know that market. If it's a market outside my area, then yeah, I will. Again, it depends, because a lot of agents here, Jen, will do that. They do the one-stop shop, and I understand what you're saying, that it's unprofessional. However, people are interviewing agents. Like they'll interview 4 or 5 agents. And this happened, the very first listing appointment I ever went on, first in my career, mm-hmm. They told me I was one of 5 agents that was coming in, that they were interviewing, and they were going to make their decision. I was going in on a Sunday. They were going to make that decision by like Monday, Tuesday. So
yeah, that kind of puts you in a pickle.
I had to walk in there. Yeah, so I had to walk in there with all of my. I had to get all my. Well, the good thing was that this house was expired, so I had to go in there with like, look, this is what the home sold for. This is where you were at on the market.
So
this is why it didn't sell.
So because it was an expired listing, you had pictures to reference.
Yeah, I had pictures to go by. Yeah,
pictures to reference, which makes a huge difference, because
it does.
It's a window into the house before you're getting to the house.
Absolutely. But, a lot of us agents here will do they'll go in, because listen, this is how we roll in Jersey. We don't waste. We want it done. We want it done. Come in.
Yeah.
Tell me what it's worth. And next person, tell me what it's worth. Next person. And they're going to go with, a lot of them people go with, okay, this agent says they can sell it at this price, I'm going with them. Or they'll say, I want to hire you because I feel comfortable that you're going to really take care of me and you're doing the right thing. But
you bring up a great point, Jackie. And here's the thing and that's why one of the reasons why I say, I mentioned it I've mentioned a couple times in my videos about, interviewing multiple agents.
Right.
That's the exact reason why you want to interview multiple agents, because some homeowner may want that. They want the speed of a transaction to go super quick.
Yeah.
And they'll appreciate, versus somebody like me coming in where I tend to be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more detailed. And that is not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
It's not. Right. I mean, so my approach, may not work for them. So they're going to hire the agent that they sync with, that they're comfortable with, that it makes, they're okay with that number. And I think that that's why it becomes a personal preference. Oh, Leah says that was her. That was you're very welcome.
Oh.
And then how far in advance should I start interviewing agents? We're 9 months out from listing, and we know a lot can change. 9 months out, to be perfectly honest, I mean, I'd probably wait until like 6 months.
That's what I was going to say.
And
6
then
months out.
start making the phone calls. Because here's the thing: once you start, I would start interviewing agents way earlier than you think you need them. And the reason being is it'll allow you. Well, not. Sorry, my brain is going faster than my mouth right now, so I apologize. Jackie, you're familiar with this phenomenon when you talk to me.
I know.
All the things I want to say. When you are thinking about this process and you want to get it done as early as possible, get it started. When you interview agents, you call up 3 agents and you say, hey, listen, we're not looking to list for 6 months or more, 9 months. If that agent says, you know what, call me when you're ready, that day just did you a favor. You're not working with that agent. Next.
Mm-hmm. Super
easy to eliminate. Okay. I have my clients call me a year out. I had somebody the other day call me. It was a repeat client, but 2 years. They're like, we're going to be moving to Florida in 2 years. And then I talk. Now, here's the other thing. The other reason why you do it ahead of time, number 1 is elimination, but number 2 is you can lock into the agent that you're going to be having this. It's an intimate relationship for a short period of time. You're married to this person for a short period of time.
Yep.
And what they'll be able to do is, because they know your situation, they'll be able to keep you updated on what's going on in the market.
Exactly.
Because now they know that you're getting ready. So they can keep you updated. They can let you know if there's anything that might be able to be done to your house to include your value that's not going to cost you a ton of money out of pocket that you may or may not want to do. Maybe you don't want to do anything, but maybe if there's something that's, a low impact job that you're like, I can do that, and it's not going to cost me that much money, but it'll help sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
You've got time to do it. Because how many times, Jackie, have you gone over to a home and they're like, we're ready to go, we're ready to sell, and you go over and they're ready, there's no lead time, and you walk through and you go, you really need to get the carpets cleaned. You really should probably put a fresh coat of paint in this room because the kids, the walls are kind of not great because of the kids.
I know.
Just little things like that.
Yeah, you need time to prep.
Now they're under the gun. They're under the gun.
Time to prep. You definitely do, and your agent will walk you through that. Tell you where you should need to be decluttering, where even help you give some staging ideas. Remove furniture, whatever things, rearrange furniture in a room to make the room look bigger, things like that. You need time. Quick story. I had that happen 2 years ago. It was a family from town. They decided on a whim, their son was going to college in Colorado, and they figured the husband could work remote. Let's move out to Colorado. We had a week to get the thing on the market. And I mean, the house wasn't in terrible. It wasn't like a total disarray or like overly cluttered.
Yep.
But it needed to be organized.
Right.
I was over there like for 3 days in a row over there helping them get the whole place, get it organized, throw things out. Oh my God. We sold it. It was great. We got, top dollar, all the things, but that was hell. And I tell this to people, if you're going to sell, plan ahead of time, because it is so daunting. And then once you sell the house, now you have the packing up the house. You got to pack it up, move all that, take as much time as you can before you list it to get the house ready. Because it's like, oh my God, that was a nightmare. I could not believe we pulled that off, but I felt bad for them.
Stress city.
Total stress. So,
Maxine says, for us, we don't want the most money as much as we want a serious buyer who won't back out of the contract without giving the house away. There's the trade-off.
Right.
There's the trade-off. It's not always about the money.
It's not about the money. If you have a flaky buyer, I've had that before too, where buyers back out and they would happen to be the ones offering the highest price and they back out. Oh, forget it. Yep.
George says lots of advice and guidance you can provide in that 8 months before listing. Absolutely, positively.
Yep.
Absolutely. Jackie, are lots of people selling in Jersey moving out of state?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But I mean, the inventory is still extremely low. And what I am seeing, I'm still seeing to this day, it's people who are moving out of state, or it's a second home, or like an investment property, or it's like an estate. Somebody's passed away.
Yep.
Those are the top three scenarios where people are selling. But I'm not seeing too much of people selling to trade up, get a bigger house. Like this has been I'm talking about on the list side and on the buy side. This is what my experience has been. So yeah, they're moving out.
Lisa, thank you. We are already decluttering, but need guidance on paint, etc. I might be doing a video on that actually, because I've got some questions on that. So stay tuned. But you know what, decluttering, good on you, because that's probably honestly the hardest part, especially if you've been in the house for a while. It can be overwhelming. XY says, curious, can listing agent help me find a timeline, time frame where there's no new comp coming on the market, so my house won't compete with others? If so, how could you know when no comp will be listed? If, in other words, like knowing when there's no competition.
Like this, they're probably asking this slow, like what would be the slowest time? Like this, that's what I'm thinking. The winter, put your house on in the winter. That's like you don't have that much competition.
Absolutely. December, January.
Yep.
The spring market typically, not this year, but typically starts into February.
Yes.
In February. So December, January is a great time.
It's no competition.
Time. And let me tell you something. My family relocated here. We closed in December. My dad, I was 10 years old, I think, at the time. And it was a job transfer. Mm-hmm. And 4 kids in tow in December. I'm sure my parents were loving that. Mm-hmm. Right? Not the ideal time, but they had to buy a house.
Yep.
So are there people still buying houses in December and January?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The serious
110%.
Your serious buyers. The serious buyers are out. Everyone else, like, they can't be bothered because of the holidays, whatever. But I helped people buy a house a few years back. It was middle of December, and it was between us and one other buyer, and we got the house. So that just shows you how, like, there's less competition, but there's serious buyers.
Serious buyers.
That's time to do it.
It doesn't mean, and I always tell buyers this, it doesn't mean just because there's less competition that you're going to get a deal. No, there's still going to be competition, but instead of 10 offers,
exactly,
you'll have 2 or 3.
2 is more reasonable.
As a seller, you only have 1 buyer.
Right. Now, 2 to 3 offers is more reasonable than having 25. I mean, for a seller, that is so overwhelming too.
I don't ever want to go back to that.
No.
That's just awful. Joseph says, the week of the 4th would have been a great week. Yep. I had somebody reach out to me last week. Actually, they're coming in from out of town to start looking at some stuff. So, yes, Patty, we're getting that. Actually, we're going to get to that. Jackie's YouTube channel is in the description. So we got Jackie covered. We got you covered, Jackie Baker. Next question, if you're ready, Mrs. Baker.
Yes, I am ready.
This is off of my I dropped this video this week. Costly 4 mistakes that will plummet your home values. There's a little DIY stuff going on, which I just love. I geek out on DIY.
This is your wheelhouse.
That's my jam. I love fixing stuff. At Chip Langowski. I'm Polish, so shout out to the Polacks, Langowski. 3298. He says, if the best ROI, and it's a great question because it's kind of a misinformation kind of. I just wanted to talk about it. If the best ROI, which I talk about a lot in the videos, for the best choice is 80%. I talked about hardwood floor being the highest ROI,
right?
Typically 7 to 80%. The correct option is to not replace your old flooring before you sell. Replace your flooring with whatever you like the most if you plan to stay in your home. But if you are replacing it just to sell, don't. Give the buyers a small discount. They will be able to install the flooring of their choice and will save you money. Okay, I'm going to unpack this for a sec. Because if it were as easy as that, done. But the answer is not as easy as that because there's a lot of factors. Factor number one is if the floor is a nightmare and the flooring chases buyers away, it doesn't matter what the credit is, the buyers are out. Two, the buyers don't necessarily want a credit because maybe they don't want to deal with the contractors. And the floor costs $4,000, pulling numbers out of the air, $5,000. The time value of money has to be factored in.
Mm-hmm.
So if the floors cost $5,000 to a buyer, that's a $7,500 investment or more because the value of the time that they have to take now to deal with those floors.
Yep.
Three,
Yep.
ROI, we're talking 1-to-1. We're saying, okay, on a perfect case scenario, the house is worth $100,000 and you put in a $10,000 floor, you roughly increase your home value to by $8,000 on it. And that's all hypothetical. The reality of it is the thing that ROI can't calculate is your individual market and what the demand is by the buyers. And a buyer that falls in love with the house, that has an emotional attachment, that's willing to open their wallet because they have always dreamed about buying a house with hardwood floors in that neighborhood, in that area.
Mm-hmm.
That ROI is now way over 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You can't quantify that. You can't quantify that ROI because based on just what a buyer would be willing to pay. I mean, if the buyers are just two even Steven buyers, one with the hardwood, one without the hardwood and all the things, and they don't really, there's not as much of emotional attachment, that's one thing, but you can't predict. So the other thing I would say is that if the floors are okay, and you're like, but I really think it will show better with hardwood, if it's not a big enough jump, then no.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, something like flooring, if it's, typically, I mean, honestly, if excuse me, if the flooring is that beat up, I'm going to probably say, don't do hardwood. Like, don't go with the most expensive option. Go with something that's acceptable, but makes it more presentable to make it more marketable.
Mm-hmm.
But do it early enough so you can enjoy it.
Exactly. Yep.
You don't just decide tomorrow I'm going to sell my house. If you're like, you know what, I know I want to do it, but I want to really enjoy it before I sell. Then you do it now. Now you have, it's not the ROI that you're cashing out. It's the enjoyment that you're cashing out in addition.
Right. Exactly. But
that's what I wanted to say on that.
But
anything to add on that?
So I will tell you, when I go with my buyers, we look at homes, the first thing I look at is the floors. We do, because that is, I understand what he's saying, give them a small discount or price the house accordingly if the floors are like totally trashed, and you don't want to deal with that. Because what happens is, like I said, my buyers, that's the first thing we look at. And what's running through their head, how much is that going to cost?
How much is it going to cost me?
How much is that going to cost?
It's the time value of money. It's the time value of money.
That's exactly it. So, I've walked into homes where they've had, ceramic tile throughout the whole first floor. And they're like, oh, this would be so much better for his hardwood. And what's running in my head, I'm like, that's going to cost to rip all that tile out. And then and then lay the floor. I mean, it's a lot. It's super expensive.
And buyers, like the reality of it is that there are a lot of buyers that will look for projects. I bought my house as a project, right? But a lot of them don't, and they don't have the time,
they don't have the time,
or the interest to get involved with that. And dealing with contractors can be a bear. Now, I bought this house with my husband at the time because we both, rolled up our sleeves and we did a ton of work ourselves. Mm-hmm. The unfinished downstairs we had a professional do, but everything else, all the other flooring, we did ourselves. And he had some construction knowledge. I am always eager to learn. So that was our scenario. So it made sense for us.
Right.
But that's not the story for everybody. A lot of buyers will
No.
say, you know what? I have no interest. I have no ability. I don't really want to get involved. And I don't want to deal with hiring a contractor, which, by the way, trying to find a contractor that actually calls you back,
Uh-huh.
is a challenge in itself.
Yep.
So we're going to skip this and we're going to go to the house down the street that maybe be a little bit more money, but I don't have to do anything to.
That's exactly it. All my clients, my buyer clients, they work. They work full-time jobs.
Yes.
They don't have time to be dealing with renovations. So yeah,
Nope.
they'll walk away. They'll walk away.
And by
from
the way,
stuff.
we bought this house and we didn't have kids yet. So that was
Yeah, well, there,
huge.
yeah, that is huge. Yeah, when you have kids, bring kids in the mix. Forget it. You know?
I will say that for anybody that watched that video, like I mentioned, my engineered hardwood floors in my master bedroom.
Yep.
So engineered hardwood, you have to put like a adhesive down, Jackie. You put adhesive, and then you nail it, right? Just want to make sure you do it right and all the things, right? So I was 6 months pregnant, putting that floor in.
Oh my God.
I was on my hands and knees with a trowel,
Oh my
spreading
God.
adhesive while my husband was cutting and laying the floor down because I needed to get it done to get the room, the other bedroom ready for the nursery. I was 6 months pregnant. I'm like, that's how I'm a little nuts. I don't know.
Well, you said it.
Yeah. Well, you know me. You know.
I
me,
know
Jackie.
You're crazy.
You know
I wouldn't be doing that. Oh my God.
crazy. But after we were done, I'm like, heck yeah, we did that.
Right?
So it was very empowering. Maxine says we painted, got rid of tons of junk. Oh, that's so freeing. Replaced faucets in the kitchen and bathroom, new curtains, new rugs, new mirrors, and all of our hardwood professionally cleaned. It looks awesome. You know what? I've heard this, Jackie. I'm sure you've heard the same. A lot of people have said, you know what? My house has never looked better than right before I go to sell it.
Exactly. Yep. That's how it was. We sold our house before we moved here. It's like it looked awesome. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to leave now. It looks so good.
Have you ever had someone say they decided not to sell it after they got it ready for sale because it was like, yeah, I haven't actually experienced that, but I had someone, I've known a couple people that has said their clients they changed their mind. They're like, you know what? We actually love our house again. We've fallen back in love with our house. We don't want to move.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know what? Good on you. Maybe that's just the push that you needed,
Yep.
And Patty says, I bought my house in
December. Smart woman.
Yep. 55 community here in Barnegat, and they sell in 2 days.
I'm not surprised.
Military homes, we are selling soon. We have the old 90s style white ceramic tile countertops. Oh God, I just, yeah. What do you do with that, Jack? What do you do with that?
With the grout and everything? That's tough.
You know what? I would, if it were me, I would get so here's the thing that I don't think I mentioned in my videos, but you can save a ton of money demoing it yourself. Find out what the cost is to replace the countertops, right? Go to your local Lowe's, go to your Home Depot, see if there is a discount on a particular granite. A lot of times the countertops they'll get it in bulk, and different quarries will have discounts on certain types of granite, and it's a pain. But if you want to save some money, that's what we did here.
Yeah.
I had the carpets replaced. The only place in my entire house is my stairs and upstairs hallway. I have a real high density, tight knit Berber, and I just didn't want hardwood stairs. And so it was old shag carpet, and I was on my hands and knees with staple because I'm a little particular.
Yeah.
And so a lot of carpenters just take a hammer, just like bang it in. I'm like, no, everything's gonna come out. So I pulled, but I demoed and we cut up the carpet and all that, got rid of it and all the things.
Yeah.
We did all the demo so that the guy just had to come in and put the new stuff in. So save a lot of money. So that might be something that you might consider. I'm
just thinking, Jen, he's saying they're selling soon. They're asking, I'm assuming they're asking, oh yeah, they are. I see the other question down here. They wanted if they should bother putting in new countertops. This is what I tell people. Like, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna be selling, don't spend a ton of money, like you just said. You could go out and get a cheap countertop, but again, it's the time, right?
Right.
The time, getting a contractor out there. If they're not handy, they can't do it themselves, then just price the house accordingly. Leave the countertops.
It
And let
depends.
the
It
new
really,
person
really
take care
depends. I
of it.
mean, if the, I mean, countertops, I feel like countertops is one of those items that when buyers walk into a house, it's a wow factor.
Yeah,
It's not like windows, right? It's not like a roof or
true.
furnace. It's a wow, like a nice looking new countertop.
Yep.
It makes, if the rest of the kitchen is complementing. So in other words, you have updated appliances. You have
Mhm.
everything. The cabinets are in nice condition. And the only thing that's sticking out like a sore thumb, like if you have older cabinets that are not that great, don't do the
Mhm.
countertops. Just let it go, like you said,
Mhm.
Jackie. But
Yeah.
if the cabinets are really nice, maybe they need Murphy oil soap, bring them back,
Yep.
Um, and it's the countertops are the only thing, then I would see what kind of deals you have in your local area. See if you can get a deal on a countertop that looks nice, you know,
Yep.
um, and then just do a price comparison.
Yep.
Like you said, Jackie, look at comps in the neighborhood to see what other
Exactly.
properties are selling for.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Might be better to
So,
save yourself the aggravation and just price it accordingly.
yes, ma'am.
Um,
Um, was it Fun Newbie? NFB Newbie? Anyhow, husband and I want to, my husband and I want to watch, but can't right now. Will this video be up for a few days or does live stream? Oh, no, absolutely. So, live streams are right on my YouTube channel. If you go right to the channel itself, you'll see a button for videos and another button that says live, and every single live stream is on there indefinitely
Wonderful
forever.
thing.
It's a wonderful things.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Um, as wall carpeting. Oh yeah. I have no love for
Oh,
wall carpeting. You know
I,
what? My opinion on carpeting is like if
I hate
you have hardwood
carpeting.
floors, you can always put an area rug.
Exactly. Ugh.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, yep. But in California, let's see here, Maxie, we need to downsize because of our ages. Otherwise, we would stay here. And we have a beautiful property. It's too big for snow. We're looking forward to a new chapter in our lives. Awesome.
Oh, good
Awesome.
for
Awesome.
you.
Awesome.
Good for you.
Fantastic. Hey, we have actually, gosh, do we have time for one more question?
I think so.
Do you think, is that all right with you, Jackie?
That's fine by me, my friend.
You good? Because I get this one person that I promised that we would answer these questions. So, and it actually has to do with flooring. So it's like,
There
well,
we
this
go.
might be, or updates in general. And I just thought it was interesting because I think it has some pertinent information. So again, costly flooring mistakes video at Jared Merlin. And Jared says, I am trying to sell my mother's home. She's elderly, has dementia, is on a fixed income. We do not have the money to fix many things, such as siding or the floors. We just had an open house, and the minute the buyers saw our carpet, they were no longer interested. They came in and left just as fast. Our real estate agent talked to us about offering a concession which would enable buyers to make an offer. My goal is to sell the home and get my mother into a more affordable place. I've fixed all I can, but there are just things I can't do myself, and I don't have the finances to assist her.
Mm.
We hear this all the time, Jackie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so it's one thing to want to do it. It's another thing to be able to do it.
Yep. Yep.
My
Listen, they may want to be able to consider that doing a concession.
Well, so here's the thing. My opinion, and I have worked with plenty of home sellers that, especially back in 06, 07, 08, when the market crashed and people did not have money. And they were close to being upside down on their house. They were barely able to sell it. They couldn't afford it. They had to get out from underneath it. And they certainly didn't have the money to do any updates. And so I saw a lot of these types of situations. And of course we have this type of, we have these types of situations. People they're just in a situation where they have to sell it or they inherit the house. And they're like, I just don't have what can I do? My advice is always this: price it accordingly. Just price it accordingly. As my grandmother would say, there is a butt for every seat.
Mm-hmm.
And if you price the house accordingly, if you price it to its correct value, including the work that it needs, you will get the right buyer. So if you have a house and it's in a neighborhood and the average selling price is $400,000, and you know your house needs work,
Yep.
you're gonna and you say, okay, well, this is where your agent should be able to help you on. Okay, well, again, it's the cost of the repairs plus the time value to the buyer of those repairs. And you say, okay, minus the value of these items, maybe it's $75,000. Always estimate higher than you think it's going to be.
Yep.
You price this house and it's a $400,000 neighborhood and you price it at $325,000. Those buyers are going to go into that house not expecting a $400,000 house. They're going to expect a house that needs some love and attention.
Yep.
Some work. The expectation has been set up front. I think concessions can work for certain things, but I think that doesn't do it enough. There's not enough. There's not enough there in a concession to get past if the house is just tired and just needs. If it's just one thing, that's it. But if it's needs other things, you just price it properly.
Just reduce the price then. That's it.
That's all you can do. If it's already on the market, then that's what you can do, and do it as quickly as possible.
Reduce it.
And that. Hey, if you get to the right price, you're going to know right away, because depending on where you're at, the market, people are looking to buy no matter what price range. There are people out there that are like, they're struggling with this, unaffordable situation that we're in. And they're like, heck yeah, I'll do some work if it means I'll be able to get my foot in the door. And if you price it right, the market's going to respond, and you're going to get a bunch of offers. It's not just one, you're going to get a bunch if you're at the right price.
Right.
So what say you, Jackie Baker?
No, I agree with you. But it's the reason I've been seeing this it's here and there. I've seen listings where in the comments in MLS they'll say, sellers willing to offer a concession for whatever, to replace floors or if it was even a roof. But like you said, you could just start up by just reducing the price to begin with, because here's the other thing. If you do the concession, the sale price is still the sale price, right? So you pay for the seller, you're paying more on your taxes on your gain.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true.
Drop the price and they buy it, and you're paying less on your gain. See what happens when you're married to an accountant? These are the things.
Yeah, right. It's true. Right? I would say too, to consider this. You go on Zillow, and to your point, you see a price. The price is the price. You see it on Zillow. When a home buyer is looking for a house, and they're and because of the way the market is, they're reading it, but they're not like, oh no, I'm not going to get excited until I read all of the description. No, they're like, it's a house of 400,000. It's like, they jump right in, and maybe it may not be clear. But the other thing that I think happens too is, it's like, if there's a concession, it's like, well, what else? If they're doing that, what else is wrong with the house that they're not giving a concession on? If you just price it, take the concession out, price it properly where it should be upfront. Hey, we're looking for a buyer that's ready to roll up their sleeves and call this home. Don't beat around the bush, whatever. It's like, hey, this is it, warts and all. Is somebody looking to adopt this house, needs some love, and you're just upfront, then I think that's the better way to go to attract a bigger audience, because I think a lot of people won't even read. Because let's be honest, Jackie, how many times have you had buyers show up to a listing and that you've had, and they're like, wait, there's a septic system? I didn't know there's a septic system. And then the buyer's agent hasn't informed them, or the buyer's even hadn't even had a conversation with them about it. And they're like, they don't even know the house.
Yep.
They don't even know the house. I had an agent call me a couple months ago to schedule an appointment, and she started asking me questions. I said, can I ask you a question? I said, have you even read the listing? Oh no, I'm very busy. I'm not in front of my computer.
Don't you love that?
I think that on my video that drops on Thursday that covers what's happening on August 17th, I think the changes that are coming are in a lot of ways are going to be really good to get rid of
He's getting rid
those
of
people.
a lot of agents.
Get these agents that don't care, are lazy, whatever.
Absolutely. Yep.
Hit the road, Jack. Anyways, Hey, Jackie.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how much I appreciate you being here. And
I'm
all the
honored to be
things.
here.
And, it's always fun to have a conversation. I always enjoy talking to you. But hey, if anybody wants to check out Jackie's channel, there she is. Jackie, Jersey Jackie, who does amazing content focused around servicing the buyer.
Yes.
All kinds of great buyer content. So you want to check her out because you do a pretty awesome job.
Thank you.
In my opinion, IMO, as the kids say. Is that what they say? IMO? I don't know. My kids think I'm a big dork. I am a big dork. It is what it is.
Are you doing a shameless plug?
I am getting there. First off, no, I'm just going to say, hey, listen, if you need and would like me to connect you with a referral, I apologize. We're going to just, we'll just get this a little bigger here. No, it's not working. Oh, there we go. Fill out the form. The link is in the description so I can get you connected with an agent that is good in the area. You can check it out and fill it out, and I'll get in touch with you and all the things. So yes, Jackie. Yes, Jackie, we're going to do, last but not least, for those still hanging on the live stream, Jackie and I have a fun project that we call the Reddit Real Estate Disasters Podcast. And we started doing this, I don't know, Jackie, what, like 3-4 months ago, something like that?
3 months ago now, I think. Yeah.
And just for fun.
It's fun.
It's just a fun project for us. And basically all it is, Jackie, work your magic, read, and you find the craziest stories on Reddit, real estate Reddit stories that are just, some of them are like, what the heck? And some of them are like, oh my gosh, and all the things. And she doesn't tell me about them until we hit the record button. And then we talk about it. So it's entertaining. We have some jokes and we have some fun and laughs, but I think there's also a lot of good, some lessons in there too. So if you're interested on all of major podcast channels and we got the real estate channel too, throw it on there. If looking at our mugs is your thing, instead of listening to it on the podcast, you can put it on the TV or whatever while you're doing your cleaning. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So that's it. Anywho, hey Jackie, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
Thank you for everybody for being here.
Great audience.
And appreciate it. And, it's
love
all good.
The comments.
It's all good. I appreciate everybody that commented and added in their got involved in the conversation. So till next week. Jackie, we'll see you later. Everyone, we'll see you next Tuesday for another edition of whatever this live stream is. Giving you an update on what the heck's going on in the real estate market. All right, everybody, have a great week. Be kind, be nice, do something nice for your neighbor. Be safe out there, and take care of yourself.
Bye.
I like this music, Jackie.
I love it.